I would really like to call upon the stage Dr. Anup Girdhar, our special guest Mr. Sanjay Bahal and Dr. Sushila Madan to kindly come on to the stage. Thank you. Anup Girdhar to kindly welcome our special guest Mr. Sanjay Bahal. He is from CERT-IN, that is Computer Emergency Response Team, India. Vast experience in terms of security. He spent 28 years in terms of security itself. Prior to CERT-IN, he worked along with Microsoft India Services, Tata Consultancy Services, and CMC as well as Chief Security Officer. Now, I would really like to cordially invite Mr. Sanjay Bahal to kindly come and Dr. Anup Girdhar to kindly welcome our guest. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, may I please cordially invite Mr. Sanjay Bahal to kindly come on the dais and share a few of the important words along with our audience. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I think much of lunch, probably everyone's going to go off to sleep. I was not sure what I should be talking about and covering. So I have taken a slightly different approach, probably which is in line and tune with what the audience here is looking at. And I thought I'll try and cover things from an Indian perspective in terms of the IT industry, because software services is what Indian IT industry is known for. I just thought let's try and see from an information security perspective what are the practices followed and are things in order or not. And I looked at some sort of a modeling approach, so I just thought I'll share that with you. Understanding IT outsourcing, I think everyone does understand, but I just want to highlight a specific perspectives here in terms of it is a strategic initiative, and if you see from the outsourcing perspective, quality, long-term effectiveness and security are getting a lot of attention. Obviously the driver is, it's been touted that outsourcing does bring down costs by about 35%. And there are different key drivers, and if you see, service quality and culture fit seem to be right on top in terms of indicating the importance of the risks that people have when they are outsourcing. So let's look at it from the perspective of people who are trying to outsource, that's the sourcing organizations. They believe they're in, of course everyone understands they're in a complex environment where cost pressures are increasing, risks are increasing, they're looking at globalization, and the complexity is definitely becoming much more. As for them, from the supply chain perspective, there are 5 major challenges. How do you contain cost? How do you have visibility across it? How do you handle the risk? How do you look at ensuring you have customer intimacy? And how do you look at globalization? I just highlighted certain things, and I will go into some of them a little later. And if to meet these, the organizations are basically looking at how do you improve your systems and standardize processes, and that's where they feel they will be able to look at cost containment and look at much more efficient processes and have much more customer intimacy. How do they build flexibility? How do they create stronger and more agile supply networks and consistently deliver value? And they feel that having the right people, processes, tools in the right place to drive efficiency and effectiveness is key, which is talent is the key. And hence, having looked at certain aspects from the sourcing side, think I wanted to try and combine some of the things which I mentioned in the first slide in terms of quality, security, etc. So, is there a link between quality and security? So, quality is basically defined entirely by the customer or the end user's experience, and it's the entire experience. And if you look at different aspects within literature, you do come across that quality supports dependability, dependability supports speed, speed supports flexibility, and flexibility supports cost. So in short, quality is supporting cost. And if you look at dependability, the attributes are availability, reliability, safety, and security. So there is a clear link between what people are looking at, as I showed you in the first slide. Quality, long-term effectiveness in terms of dependability, security. And in the second side, when you're looking at cost containment and managing risk, so all that gets covered from this perspective. And mostly people look at safety as something in terms of synonymous with security, and they're looking at services or products, that something that is not only secure but it has been secured. So security is actually a business risk management responsibility, and it's a part of quality, because it's always saying that quality is a process, and similarly security is also a process. It's an ongoing process. If you look at security in the IT outsourcing perspective, obviously there's a lot of work done, but I've just picked up a couple of points from different journals and different papers. The first one in 2008 talks about good service provider will be able to improve the quality of security in a highly cost-effective way. Ineffective service providers process has proven to increase risk in IT outsourcing. So practices of security is one of the factors in selecting a service provider. The other one in 2005, it talks about security with being under governance, culture, infrastructure components for the organization, and to improve the success of IT outsourcing, achieving IT competencies and getting competitive advantage. And another paper in 2008 talks about number of companies are experiencing negative experience and unpredicted results. And the major risk they've highlighted is security, and they feel that there was a significantly higher security risk in working with offshore providers over those in the United States, and the information security ranked as one of the top 3 factors when selecting outsourcing partners. So if you see, a lot of studies, etc., have actually looked at aspects from a Western perspective, even though India leads the outsourcing industry globally. There's not much of work done from an Indian perspective or Indian side. So we talked about providing IT services. So, and I talked about quality. So obviously, when you're providing IT services, you need to start looking at the service quality that you're providing. So if you're looking at the service quality, it basically is about determining customer satisfaction and increasing loyalty, and you're looking at the customer gap, because the customer is expecting a certain service, and then what you deliver is what they perceive as what is the service that has been delivered to them. So the gap between the expected service and perceived service needs to be minimized, and that's the service quality gap model, which is there in literature, and it has these different 4 different components: the knowledge gap, the service design gap, service performance gap, and the communication gap. So if you look at the summation of all these, this is what is going to add up and give you the customer gap. So the trick is in trying to reduce each of these or minimize them, so that the customer gap is minimum and expected service and perceived service come close to each other, which will in turn have a bearing on customer satisfaction and also increase the loyalty. That's one model. Let me talk about another model, which is the business model for information security. And the business model for information security is basically trying to address the complexity of security and trying to bring about a balance between protection and what the business needs. You can visualize this as a pyramid. So when you visualize this as a pyramid, there are different elements, things like organization, design and strategy, people, process, technology, and then there are dynamic interconnections. The reason why I say dynamic interconnections of culture, architecture, governing, emergence, enabling and support and human factors is because these elements, you could be, for example, spending a lot on technology, which may be not in the same fashion commensurate with what you are spending on process or people or in terms of organization, design and strategy, which means the circle of technology becomes much bigger, which creating certain push and pulls on the dynamic interconnections, and hence there is a distortion of the pyramid, right? So you can start seeing there will be an imbalance of the pyramid. So when I'm saying imbalance of the pyramid, so you now start seeing that this is, as I said, quality is an ongoing process, it's not static. Security is an ongoing process, it's not static. So what happens? Today, there might be a challenge from an architecture perspective or human factors perspective. Tomorrow, if you address that, the pyramid probably goes back into the stable state. Otherwise, there will be an imbalance. So what I've tried to do is, look at certain amount of data and also collected some data. So done a triangulation based on focus group discussions, secondary data as well as face-to-face interviews. So the secondary data was taken from 3 different surveys which are conducted by Data Security Council of India and KPMG for the ITS companies in India, Computer Emergency Response Team and Pricewaterhouse as well as FICCI. And the third one was done by AMI Partners. The second thing was in terms of the predictive threat modeling in terms of field survey across 14 organizations twice over a period of 1 year. And the third was conducting face-to-face interviews with 9 different chief security officers in the IT industry, and then looking at the transcription of those interviews, getting the coherent thoughts together, grouping them, and then taking out the themes, etc. Based on this, what you see, the ideal case is where you're looking at how the pyramid should be. And when you look at data based on these surveys, you find a difference in the ideal state and look at the equilibrium. There's a lot of emphasis on people, there's a lot of emphasis on technology, but there's also on governing, so in terms of structure, etc. But there's hardly any emphasis on architecture as well as on culture. If you see, those are extremely thin lines, architecture and culture. So what happens is, if you don't have an overall organization architecture for security, you are still spending on technology, you are still spending on people, are you going to be secure? Obviously not. So you are looking at only band-aid solutions or reactive solutions. If you don't have the culture from the top, how do you expect that to be percolated down to every individual within the organization? So there's going to be a huge challenge. So from a show perspective of saying that yes, we have security, we have a whole group which looks after security, etc. So the governing aspects are very strong, which is useful to show from an outside perspective. But internally, architecture, culture seem to be a challenge. And hence you see the distorted equilibrium of this pyramid. Then how is it going to have an impact on the customers? Because they are expecting a certain service and they perceive what is the service being given to them. So what I've done is try to put this business model for information security within the security quality gaps model. Because that's the sort of design that you have within the organization, and you are using that design to deliver the final services. So you understood what the outsourcing requirements are in terms of your understand from the knowledge perspective. Maybe there's less gap in that, but from a design perspective and delivery perspective, this is what you have. Basically, it's a distorted model within the organization, and then you are communicating fairly well as to what you have. And then what do you think is the gap? So basic findings are, though this is a disturbed model, but there has not been any change in the overall export percentages from the overall software exports, and they continue to grow. Business model for security is clearly highlighting that there are service design and performance gaps which are impacting service delivery when you map it back to the quality gaps model. And also the service design and service delivery is primarily customer driven, correct? That's why you are outsourcing. And hence, it has been concluded that the equilibrium of the business model for information security is also probably disturbed at the customer end. And hence, they are okay with this. So, finally, this is not going to impact customer growth adversely because it is qualifying as an acceptable service quality because it's finally customer driven. And if it is customer driven and it is within their tolerance limits, that's what is perceived by the customer, so it is fine. The same sort of model when you're looking at services perspective is what today or tomorrow you will move on to the cloud. And that's what will happen. So if you as a customer of the cloud are fairly aware of security, then your demands will be higher, and then what you perceive and what you are getting, there will be a huge gap and you will be able to challenge the service provider. But if your requirements are, you are not clear about your requirements, then whatever you are getting as a service in terms of security, you are going to say, well, it is fine, I accept it. So I think going forward, there are opportunities for something of this sort to be explored further. There are obviously immense potential when you're looking at it from a service perspective and the growing need of security, privacy, etc. I think these sort of models are useful and helpful. So I would definitely urge and encourage people who are trying to work in these areas to start looking at some of these aspects. Thank you.